Hey folks, welcome to week 4 and ultimately unit 2, where we're going to start essay number 2. So unit 2 focuses on writing an analytical paper. Okay, your first essay was also an analytical paper. A little bit different attempt, a little bit different goal here. We'll consider how scholars attempt to answer a research question. It's a precursor to try to answer research questions yourselves, which is what you're going to do in units 3 and 4 for essays 3 and 4. So this unit, just to give you the heads up, it's going to take comprise total of 4 weeks, starting now, ending with week 7, which is March 4th. So I'm going to go ahead and get into week number 4, and we'll take a look at this week's work. Okay, so number 1, watch the video, and then I kind of broke everything else up, the other 2 things up, into 2 big chunks, just to try to make sure that you don't lose focus on what you're doing. So there are some readings for you to do. I want you to read both the articles. I'll show you these in just a second. I want you to write an annotation of each of these articles and submit those annotations, and I want you to participate in the research discussion number 1. So we get down here. The readings are right here. I'll click on these. 2 articles here. One by John Peters and company, and about the effects of water and non-nutritive sweetened beverages on weight loss during a 12-week weight loss treatment program. And then by Susan Swithers, this piece was optional in the last unit. Artificial sweeteners produce the counterintuitive effect of inducing metabolic derangements. What we've got here are 2 scholarly articles where functionally the results disagree with each other. And so one of the things we want to think about is why. How is it? Of course, we turn to scholarly articles when we want good information. So if we turn and we get conflicting information, what are we supposed to do? So I want you to read these 2 articles. After you've read those, I want you to write an annotation of each article, submit those here, okay? So we're going to spend a lot of time this semester doing, working on practicing writing annotations. Does a couple things. One, it helps you learn to summarize someone else's research so that you can, when you're writing your own research papers, be able to explain the research clearly. It also helps you to start thinking about credibility of these sources. Helps you practice MLA citation. So pretty much every time we've got readings, I'm going to ask you to do annotations. So you're going to read those 2, you're going to write an annotation of each, and then you're going to participate in this discussion board. So you will be broken up into groups here. You'll only be able to see your own group, so you don't have to worry about that. Just go ahead and start typing, and you'll know that only your own other group mates will be able to see you. There should be about 5 to 6 of you in each group. Okay? What I want you to do is, as a group, work on answering the question, why do Swithers and Peters reach different conclusions? Why does the research Swithers cites, she sort of does a meta-study, why does it disagree with the results of Peters' study so obviously? So I want you to discuss that and try to come to some conclusions. What possible reasons might there be for why they come to, they disagree? Okay, so that's everything in this folder. This is sort of preparatory work for essay 2. I'm going to go ahead and close that folder up. We're going to go take a look at the rest of this. So, I want you to read an article. Show you that in just a second. Watch the Looking for Scholarly Articles video. No problem there. And find 2 scholarly articles for essay 2. Okay? Obviously, you need to look at the essay 2 assignment there as well. Okay? And then finally, write and submit annotations of the 2 articles you're reading for essay 2. So, now we're into the essay 2 folder. We'll take a look at the assignment real quick. So, essay 1 focused on the idea that the first step of the information literacy process is to realize that what one finds on the internet might not be great, right? Obviously, if we find a popular article out there that says, oh, the study shows this, it might not actually be accurate. So, now we know scholarly sources are generally better, but then what happens when you write a research paper is you often click scholarly sources because your professor told you had to use scholarly sources. So you're going to do it because you want to get a good grade in the class and you know that scholarly sources are better. But scholarly sources are only good as the work that goes into them. And often different studies on the same subject, as we saw with Swithers and Peters, disagree on the basic answer. Okay? So for essay 2, here's our assignment. Find 2 scholarly articles that are looking at the same thing. I really want you to try to find 2 articles that are attempting to answer the same question, okay? So, 2 questions on, I don't know, HIV infections. Same topic, but they would need to be answering the same question. For example, one of the articles from this past week was whether or not coffee extended your life, okay? If you can find another scholarly article about coffee and mortality, whether or not it extends one's life, that'd be perfect. You could certainly look at those two and use those two as your pair of articles for this essay, okay? So, you may use the scholarly article from essay 1 if you want. You do not have to. If you feel like, oh, I don't want to deal with this topic anymore, I don't think there's anything else out there on it, I just don't care, fine. Go pick something new altogether. That'd be perfectly fine. Find 2 articles and attempt to answer the same question. Okay? Then, your goal in the essay is to figure out which one is better, or alternatively, how they differ. Again, this isn't a research paper, it's an analytical paper. In order to do this, you'll need to consider the author's background, the journal in which it was published, statements, possible conflicts of interest, the study design, and we'll have some activities next week on focusing on these individual bits that you might need for essay 2. Okay? You might need to do a little bit of research on this, like about the author or the journal or something of that sort, but this is not the type of research that you'll be doing later on. Okay? MLA format should generally be followed. 3 to 4 pages. Everything should be cited properly. Okay? So the goal of the essay, again, is to figure out which one is better, or alternatively, how do they differ? In other words, how did they come to the conclusions they came to? If they come to exactly the same conclusion, well, that's not a huge surprise. But if they come to even slightly different conclusions, we need to think about why. And that's what the goal of the essay is. Alright, now we're back into the essay 2 folder. So, I just want you to do a quick read of this article. It's a popular article, comes out of an online website, web magazine sort of, on food, called Delish. This actually, I think they brought in from Esquire, so I think it comes from Esquire, but all of us, I want you to read this. There are a lot of studies that show that moderate drinking is good for you. This article points out who funded those. This is one of the reasons that we're doing essay 2. Okay? To think about what the motivations are behind the research. Even scholarly articles that are peer-reviewed and published in good journals might have been funded by someone with an interest in a specific outcome. Okay? So, just take a read over this. Think about it as you are working on essay 2 here, okay? Next, watch this article. This just kind of walks you through finding scholarly articles in the library databases. And then finally, annotations for essay 2. So, for the essay 2 assignment, of course, you need to find 2 scholarly articles that you're going to use for that essay. I want you to write annotations of those and submit them here. So, you'll see, I'm going to close up this one. I'm going to try to close it up. There are 2 annotations due here and 2 annotations due here. So a total of 4 annotations due this week. Okay? As soon as you finish all that, go ahead and start working on next week's work now. It's a pretty busy week, and if you can get a head start on it, it'll be a good opportunity. As soon as I can, I'll give you guys feedback on the annotations on essay 2 in case to make sure that they look like they're going to work for your essay. Okay? If you've got any questions along the way, don't hesitate to let me know. I'm always here to help.